recording my local backup, so I'm good to go whenever.
Same.
I am too.
Wait. Okay. Also, I definitely should not have eaten that edible. But it's chill. It's fine.
In the past, I've had edibles or like a THC drink before recording,
so
and I
bad.
immediately always
Why did
regret
I
it.
do
Like
this?
it usually turns out okay, but I think back and I'm like, I just get so embarrassed. I'm like, I think I was fine, but then I just start thinking back throughout the whole conversation, and it's just over.
It's
Not
also
telling you
very. It's
not
also
telling
So
you
you guys
fearing
did
you.
drugs?
well. It's also very
Or
like
impure.
Truman Show, Twilight Zone-esque for me to have Ian here and to also be getting higher as this thing is happening. Because it's like, oh yeah, I remember this guy from YouTube. It was like the first time I met one of the Smosh guys, not
Ian, Anthony?
Ian. Wait, Ian? Yeah. And I was just like, this is so strange. I'm not supposed to meet you in real life. Like, you're supposed to be on my computer. Yeah.
It's like if Mario popped up in front of you.
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
what's
make
going
any
on
sense.
here?
Yeah, so if I disassociate during this, just know everything's okay.
Yeah.
right.
I'll give you guys a
Sounds
little
good.
confession. During the Brianna Wu episode, when we were talking about JOI, I was definitely way into that edible. I didn't know.
You had an edible too?
Yeah, that was the
Ian,
first time I'd done that in forever.
Ian, do you know what JOI is? Are you familiar?
Is that jerk off instructions?
The very same.
Yeah, I've heard of
Absolutely.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know
Yeah,
what
we-
that was, and I had to have that explained to me like during the episode. And I was, like, just at the apex of my edible high, and I was like, "What the fuck are you guys talking about?" Anyway,
Yeah.
Oh, that's why you were so confused.
yeah, dude,
Okay.
I thought
that
it literally
makes a
meant
lot of
someone was
sense.
like teaching you how to jack off or whatever. I was like, that doesn't make any sense. That's why I was so hostile about it.
Wokeness is getting out of control. They're doing it in schools now. They're teaching you how to jack off in school.
I think my first exposure to that was seeing like the Elon Musk liked tweet that was something about that.
Yeah,
It was like an
The
anime
reason we
girl or
can't see
something,
Black
right?
Yeah,
Blacks
some
anymore.
sort of I don't know, power dynamic between like him being a little I don't know, a student in this case.
Almost 60 years old and he's still learning.
Yeah.
He still needs to learn how.
That is
He's a lifelong
beautiful.
learner.
yes, I respect that.
I want to welcome us into this episode,
You wanna do it?
guys. Can I do
Please
it?
do. Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
my
do it.
god, welcome back to another episode of Western Kabuki. It's me, Lolo, the best person at starting the episodes, famously. I don't know. I have nothing to say right now. June, how are you? How's it going?
I'm great. No, I'm doing good. I got nothing. I got new glasses. It's a big day for me. I've had the same frames
Oh.
for like 3 years.
Oh shit.
I've been told multiple times by a few people that I look like a librarian, which I don't know if that's an insult or not, but I'm rocking with it. I'm librarian moding now. So that's
good.
Yeah, that's my news, my update.
Are you
personal life
taking a lot
update.
of books off the shelves that you don't agree with?
Yeah, no, I took out all the woke ones. The
Okay,
JOI instructions, especially, we can't have kids learning about JOI.
Okay,
So,
that's good.
yeah.
Alex, how we doing?
I took a little nap before we started, so I'm doing great. I feel so refreshed.
Amazing.
That's beautiful. Caleb, are you there?
I'm here. And
How
I'm
are
having
you?
a blast, man.
You're having a good time?
I'm having a good time. It's my birthday weekend. As soon as we're done, I'm
Oh,
done with
shit.
Ooh,
So,
happy
party
early
time.
birthday.
work. Yeah.
You're turning 12 years old, right?
I'm turning 12 years old now that I know about JOI. I'm allowed to know about that now. Yeah, I think
Not for long, though.
I'm going down to the ocean for a few days. We'll see. It'll be fun though.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So today we have a very special guest, a person who's actually very near to my heart, actually, even though we don't talk that much, but I really care about this person a lot. He's doing some stuff that you guys are not
Hypnosis.
This is effects.
won't be able to see. He's doing effects. He's a well-known YouTuber, a former possibly reformed edgelord, a rapper,
Reformed gooner.
some a gooner, no, still a gooner at heart, a boxer, and basically I think like a real boxer. at this point.
And the first person to get canceled for not being racist.
Yes. First person ever to be canceled for not being racist. Ian Jomha, aka iDubbbz. iDubbbz, welcome to the show. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming on, buddy.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what our exact plan was in terms of what we wanted to talk about today, but I think we wanted to talk about, I don't know, we're an internet show. We talk about stuff that happens online.
Yeah,
And
I think we wanted to have you on because you've kind of gone through like a long-winded journey over the last couple of years that's been very public and a lot of people have a lot of thoughts about, and I think it's been a very like great journey. I've very, very much enjoyed watching it. And I think it's for the best in a world where we watch a lot of content creators embrace like the worst part of themselves, where it's like they can embrace like demonization, reactionary politics, and their numbers keep going up. You know, like people like Asmongold, the more they lean into like hate and all of this like right-wing rhetoric, that is personally beneficial to them. And you're a rare example of someone who has a large platform, who actively and publicly decided to not do that and go against that. And there's just not a lot of examples of high profile people like that, at least in like 2025. And it's just fascinating because you made like a very personal choice. I guess I'm just leading up to saying, it's like, what led you to like actively decide to do this and like hinder your own growth maybe, but for like your own morals? Like, what was like the moment?
Oh man, I think it was well, before I answer that, quick question. I just had a thought. I see your name, June.
Yes.
Are you the purple creature thing on
The very
Twitter?
same.
Yes.
Yes,
I am. Yeah,
okay,
that's
that's
me.
awesome.
Hello.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool.
hi.
I like that.
And end of show.
Delete.
Oh, that's sick.
Yeah, that's me.
Okay, cool. Good to meet you.
Yeah, gotta meet you too. Yeah.
So yeah, a lot of different things. I think for one, touching grass in the form of my wife, you know, she was the grass in this case, and she was just, I always wanted a partner who challenged me, and Anissa was challenging me and my ideas about fucking everything. A lot, like, I shouldn't say everything, many things. And it was slow and insidious, and it happened, you know, over time. And she's just opened my eyes to like so many different things, you know, a woman's perspective in the world. And, you know, from that, it allowed me to think about a lot of other minority groups, you know, people who I don't often, you know, find myself empathizing with, or even, you know, just giving the time of day. And so, yeah, it's been a slow thing. I think part of it as well was my exposure to a lot of, I guess, like-minded people, a lot of people who are in the same space. So like my, you know, other like commentary YouTubers that I've collaborated with, interacted with, a lot of people kind of on the edge of the, you know, either like probably mostly on the top of the alt-right funnel, you know, where they're bringing people in sort of like, I don't know, in maybe kind of a naive way. They don't really even know that they're doing it. They're just kind of like apathetic. And I think more exposure to these types of people just made me realize like this isn't really like the path I want to be going down. And more of that exposure made it more and more obvious.
One thing I've been curious about is the level of vitriol from the people who used to loved edgy iDubbbz is just out of control. I have no idea like how you continue to exist online with like the level of vitriol you have to put up with. Like, how do you? when someone insults me online, I spend the whole day hating myself about it because I'm a big baby.
I'm like, they're right.
I'm like, yeah, they are right. I am a dumb Jew. God damn it. So like, how do you how do you put up with that? Like, how do you manage being the like?
What Alex means is how do you, as a goy, deal with that? Because Alex rolls around on a giant pile of money and then starts barking off orders to senators to get over it.
Yeah, that's true. I do. But I think, but I mean, honestly, I mean, it's like you and especially Anissa catch so much shit from like absolute psychopaths, and I'm like wondering how you keep from the psychic damage. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I totally get it. The feeling is like very overwhelming, and Anissa and I are definitely not immune to it. I think, unfortunately, I think a lot of people online who are, I guess, cancelable, you know, people who actually like reflect on what they've done and like feel it and feel like people are, you know, hurting them and, you know, they are bad people, they fucking leave the internet a lot of the time. And I think it's really sad that probably a lot of the people who are accepting accountability are the ones who are disappearing on the internet. And I think Anissa and I, like, I don't know, we we call it like just being a fucking cockroach, basically. And I think the first example that we saw of like a cockroach in our like world on the internet is Keemstar. And he just like persisted.
Friend of the show.
Friend of the show.
I cannot believe that dude is still fucking like around.
I can't either, dude. I can't believe he's still doing his thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably like been blocked by so many people at this point that he probably, like, for a lot of us, like, he has disappeared. Like, for me, I don't see any of his stuff, but I know he's out there scheming.
Scheming and keeming.
Yeah. But I think for Anissa and I, just like, I don't know, we it's like a frog in boiling water a little bit. Like, I was still like loved by the internet when Anissa and I got together, but I was able to feel a lot of the pain that she was feeling early on. It still wasn't like, I don't think I was fully grasping how terrible it was, because things were good for me, not so good for her. In fact, it was mostly just bad for her. And slowly over time, with more exposure to, like, you know, the trolls and everything, I think we've become very resilient to it, because it just, there isn't, I don't know, like it's almost like there's, it's kind of, I compare it to going into the boxing ring. You know, people are like, oh, isn't it so bad? Isn't it so scary? You have so many people watching you, you know, 10,000 people watching you box. Aren't you going to shit yourself? And I'm like, no, there's too many people to worry about anything. They become noise. So I think, you know, if you have less of an audience, or like less people looking at you, it is actually weirdly more intimate, and it does like affect you a lot more. And, you know, you want to keep track of your socials, see what people are saying. You're having fun interacting with people online. So it becomes a lot more personal and intimate. And it's like these relationships aren't just, you know, noise.
Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like, going off that. Sorry. Going off of that, you, since especially recently, kind of coming out, and of course we're gonna touch on the whole Ethan Klein situation, because I feel like that's what's elevated, especially recently, all of this drama to a different level, where SlopTubers, which for people who don't know, I guess. I don't know a true definition of SlopTuber, but like my definition for SlopTuber is just like what like, imagine what TMZ is, but like for like just like drama of online personalities. It's like, it's hyper online TMZ. It's not like celebrities. It's like. It's Keemstar. It's like, it's that type of person, I guess, is like what a SlopTuber is. People covering drama who talk about drama is like a SlopTuber. Do you think that's like correct?
Yeah, that's accurate. And as you were saying that, I was wondering, like, because I had my own like policies for how I was making content and like boundaries, like I guess you can call them ethical boundaries for when I was making a lot of these videos. And I'm like, I wonder what differences there are between some slop tubers where they're like, oh no, I won't touch that. Like, you know, I only do 10 videos per person.
They don't talk about the black Israelites. They won't talk about the black Israelites. But wait, so I think of, when you say slop, I just think of me turning on a Mr. Beast video and enjoying my slop.
What I will say about Mr. Beast is at least he has production value of some sort. Like, you know, he might be demonic, but he does have production value. Satan
Don't talk about
does
Jimmy like
have...
that, please. I know he's listening.
He's a friend of the show.
Poor people
Well, his
with
slop
pageantry.
has
You have to
some-
give him that.
Some some sugar in it, at least.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
$100 million.
addictive sugar. But like I feel like with this I even hate calling it drama, because it at the end of the day, it was you kind of taking a stand of being pro-Palestine and not giving into like calling people who are pro-Palestine like terrorists and terrorist sympathizers. I don't think that's drama necessarily, but the way that they have handled talking about this has like made it so personal. People like Ethan and some people on Twitter that cover this make it about themselves so often, when that's not what any of this is about. You know, like there's people in Palestine dying every fucking day. I think over the weekend, just on Saturday alone, like over 100 people were bombed and killed, and it's like so many people just are taking, like, being very opportunistic to grow an audience, talking about interpersonal drama rather than like things that actually really matter in the world. Mm-hmm. And it feels almost inescapable to like engage with it, because it's just a constant barrage of, oh, you're a terrorist sympathizer for saying free Palestine, all of this sort of thing. What was the like impulse to finally take a stand? Because like Ethan was a friend of yours. Mm-hmm. That's not easy to like have a friend where you just simply disagree and felt like you needed to speak up in a way.
Yeah, well, I think Ethan made it really fucking easy for me. I think honestly the only like thing that made me like second guess any of it was like how it affects like other people. You know, like the whole creator clash thing, that was obviously like, you know, it's disappointing, and it makes me sick to see him like, you know, using the event as a way to like attack me back or whatever. But yeah, I'm not you know, associated with anymore. But yeah, I mean, we had been seeing fucking Ethan's rhetoric over the past, you know, year and some change, and it was upsetting and it was annoying. And like there had been times in the past, I can think of one other time where I was like, okay, I'll like message Ethan about something on his podcast where he's getting a little too fucking creepy or weird with it. And I remember doing that. I think it was related to like a David Dobrik thing. He was just like getting super into the drama. And I was like, this seems like kind of like we're getting into like weird territory. So just as a friend, I think I either called or texted him about it, and even that, I felt like, oh, he's a fucking adult. I should just let him do his shit. Like, this is his show. If he wants to, like, do something irresponsible, he can do it. So that's been, like, my policy from that point on, was just like, all right, this is his crazy show. He can do whatever he wants on his crazy show. I won't get involved. But then he started talking about us, and it's like, okay, fuck you. Like, it's just so, I don't know, man. You know, Anissa and I have our, you know, we're very pro-Palestine, but I'm certainly not like as vocal as she is about it online. But, you know, I think fucking Ethan can do a fucking vibe check and know, you know, where his friends are at online, even if they're internet friends, even if they're, you know, you're just seeing their tweets mostly. You can put things together, and I think it's an active choice to be like, no, I'm gonna pick a fight with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Did you? I feel like you kind of have in the past couple of years carved out like a pretty like nice niche for yourself. One of the things that I think went really unnoticed by a lot of people in your video, in your new content cop, was you were like, I don't give a shit about viewers. I'd rather be, doing a podcast about Vampire's Kiss for 3,000 people, which respect.
Great movie. We talked about that. We in
as
the
somebody
past
who's
have
actually done a podcast about Vampire's Kiss for probably less than 2,000 people, agreed.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, this really it feels very much like you are back in a certain kind of spotlight, for better or worse. And does that? How are you feeling about that?
I mean, that's the fucking, I guess, good side of jumping back into the drama slop. But I do feel, I guess the reason I brought that up is because that really is I described this to the therapist that I had on in the video, Kurt. Shout out Psychology in Seattle. But there was a moment where we were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, it is like the fork in the road. And I don't think it really I so badly want Ethan to understand, and fans of Ethan to understand that what he's doing on his podcast is the most uncreative, non-special thing that you could possibly be doing as a content creator. He really promotes the idea that he's getting so many views and things, and the numbers are great, and he's making money and all this sort of shit. And I'm like, yeah, dude, you've been fucking making money for the past decade. You've been doing well online. You've been surviving. That's great. But you've chosen essentially the Keemstar path. It's just branded a little bit differently. It's a liberal Keemstar. Cool. It's just not. I don't know. You have to make a choice. I feel like it's at some point to take a path of less views, less viewership. You need to figure out I don't know, what makes you funny, what makes you special. And I don't think Ethan has taken the time to figure out at all what makes him funny or special, or flex his creative muscles.
That's one of the things that I think a lot of us notice with a lot of YouTubers, where they might see a dip in views. That happens to a lot of people over lifetime, just being a content creator, posting online, doing anything like that. And the temptation is always that I feel like we've seen, especially in the era of Donald Trump too, is to lean into anti-woke. In the past, in the 2010s, it was anti-feminism. We saw that a lot. Now it's just vaguely anti-woke, Palestine, anti-leftist sort of content. And so many people, because I feel like a lot of people don't necessarily enjoy, they don't make content because they enjoy what they do. They want to make content because they want to have that be their career, which is a great aspiration. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's actually not. Maybe
the most evil aspiration there is.
Yeah, that's actually, I totally take that back. That should be punished by death.
This is why it's the Chinese century, because it's all of our children's aspiration to be online content creators. No, yeah. But Ian, to your point about Ethan's stuff that he's even just producing right now, I think the thing that makes me sad about it is I used to be a fan of this guy. You know what I mean? I think he was at his best in doing something special when he was being a silly guy making stupid shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And lighthearted stuff that was fun. And I think that's a lot of the people that used to be friends with him. Yeah. We're yeah, that's the guy I like, a lighthearted, fun guy who's
he was a goober. He was a goober.
Silly guy. It was a better place when Ethan Klein was doing Vape Nation.
Yeah,
and yeah, it was, and yeah, I don't know. It's sad. All of it. It makes me really, really sad, more than anything.
I mean, I think there was always kind of a vibe I don't know. I have thoughts. I don't like I have feelings. Like I relate to Ethan. I think in specifically,
you guys both kind of had like the same kind of like, oh, I gotta kind of reconcile with my past moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I relate in that way, but then I also relate in the way that it's hard. It's hard to be funny, and I can tell that bro really like admires like a lot of these comedians that he's had on his show. I think he wants to, be something special. I think he wants to be an entertainer, but like it's gonna take a lot of fucking like pain and hurt to actually discover who the fuck you are, because I don't think he knows who he is, to be honest. Like just seeing the type of content that he's making, it just doesn't feel I mean, he's fucking like debating Sam Cedar and Hassan on his show, and he's getting angry about it, and he's calling himself the legend. Like,
that was I watched some of the debate with Sam Cedar, and then I think sadly, I hate that I watched all of the one with Hassan and Ethan. It was painful. Yeah. It was like 5 hours of just like Hassan talking about like, oh, this, and this about Palestine, talking about like the actual issues. And then Ethan was like, so you posted this on January 1999. Explain.
He was
explain
talking
this.
like the Joker, yeah. He sounded like the Joker when he was bringing things up.
Oh.
All right, wait. I don't want to. Let's talk about you, Ian. I don't want to talk about this shit. It makes me fucking want to.
I mean, to be honest,
blow my brains out.
I only talked to Anissa about this, and it is kind of fun on occasion, I will say.
See, that's the thing. That's what's enticing about the like slop.
We're making slop right now. We're making the slop.
Well, it's not slop.
We're just as bad as they are.
Yeah, and I think we try to generally avoid that. Like, I think we try to talk like at like higher level than like specific people, because at the end of the day, it's not always that useful to like get into it in the drama.
I don't know. There's something to be said about a dumpster fire you can warm your hands on.
Yeah, that's true.
yeah, absolutely.
The other thing I'll say is like, when you brought back the content cop format, I was like really like, oh, is this going to be a thing where it's going to feel completely different? But it didn't. Like, it had the same bite. It just also had things that I was like, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, he really did. Like there is a lot. Like, you basically like saying like, hey, man, I'm worried about you, and I understand that you feel alone and isolated. That is not the kind of kindness that anyone offers anyone online, friends or otherwise. So like his anger with you and like unwillingness to see that you like actually like, that felt big to me. In a way that like, it's not something you see very often.
Well, I appreciate that. I think that was it's always going to be hard having that, like, I don't know, that sternness or some biting moments, but also say like, hey, like, we know you're human too. And it seemed like he and others, his fans, like interpreted it as like just super like fake, insincere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It was sincere. That was kind of, I don't know, hopefully to the people that, Can
I ask, Ian, do you think it's possible that Ethan does have a kind of moment where he reflects on this and realizes, oh, fuck, maybe I was wrong about some of this? And if so, like, what's it going to take?
That's a good question. I don't think so, because I think right now it's just, I think he would need to lose a lot of money.
You think that's just all financial then?
Yeah, because the money is the power, and he just kind of gets what he wants through the money, whether that's, the lawyer shit, like I can control and lord over people with the threat of lawsuits, and, just essentially paying employees to not, talk back to him, and then also just not being generally financially strapped in your way of life. If life is cushy and you don't have to you can afford to hire another nanny or another housekeeper or something. Like, I just don't feel like it's ever going to be uncomfortable enough.
Couldn't be me, fam.
Yeah.
Well, you wanted to change the subject, Lolo. What do you got?
Okay. Yeah,
Well, I was just going to say...
I'm so high right now. Holy shit. No, wait, hold on. I got it. Let me pick up the ball right here. It's all right. Let's talk about... Sorry. I think... Sorry.
Well, I was going to say,
this is going to be great.
No, it's
this
good.
edit
It's
is
good.
going to be great.
It's going to be funny. Okay. I think, Ian, you're a very good model for like maybe what masculinity could look like on the internet, for coming from somebody who maybe used to be someone that was not a good role model for young men.
Agree.
Do you think that like back in the X number of years ago in YouTube, when you were doing all the stuff you were doing then, do you think that there was kind of the male insecurity that was sort of disguised as confidence? Like, do you think that was the audience? I don't know.
100%. Yeah. Like, that was me, and that was the audience for sure. I'm trying to see if I can fucking glean any specific details in that.
I guess like, do you think that's like a symptom of like, I feel like so much conversation, we've had so many, like, the society has had so much conversations about like what is known as like the male loneliness epidemic or pandemic or whatever, and it seems like it's just like only gotten worse since those days. And like, let's be real, I mean, for people that weren't really around in like 2010, like in terms of like active online or like old enough to remember, but like 2010s were pretty reactionary, and it's like I feel like the mid 2010s and like the mid 2020s kind of are a mirror of each other, but only a lot worse. Like when there was like, so like there's like a million more of the type of people who would maybe be considered like the lonely male who is like edgy and like what.
Yeah.
Do you think it'll take like just a lot of introspection or like branching out of like, 'cause there's so many of these like
hard.
Andrew Tate influencers that are like trying to influence these like young men.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so hard because maybe part of the problem as well is my brain often wants to do something kind of bad where I'm like, I almost want to like conflate the people like where I was at with like an incel, like the most rabid incel on the planet, and be like, yeah, that's kind of the same person. But I guess it's probably healthy to remember that is a little bit more of a gradient, and some people are almost on their way. Some dudes are like, getting a partner away from being woke.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I think we probably just need a lot more, I don't know, people top of the funnel. And I think maybe on the left we have a hard time doing that because it does feel very like all or nothing, I think, in a lot of ways. And it's hard. I'm going to be honest, like since like making my apology and kind of like showing a little bit this side of myself, it's made me realize like, oh shit, like I can hardly like get down with even my like more moderate friends. Like, because they're like, I have friends who felt like a tremendous amount of like uncomfortableness around me and like guilt after my apology. Like, because they themselves felt some amount of like, shit, like now I'm gonna have to like apologize, or now I'm like, you're the start of something, or you're judging me because I haven't done this. So it made them uncomfortable, just me doing that. So...
And I think like something that like a reason why it can be maybe hard is it's not profitable. Like I hate to like kind of go back to this, but it's not profitable to be like the most woke person or like apologize for things that you've done. It's so easy. I'll be so real. So easy to not apologize and just lean into like the worst possible behaviors for depending on what kind of behaviors. It could be very profitable, especially these days. We saw I think her name is Shiloh Hendricks made like $500,000 for saying the
closer to
N-word.
$1 million now. Yeah.
Oh, fuck. Disappointing. Like there's so much. There's a system in place where the powers that be are like so likely to support super reactionary rhetoric, and there's just like not really that on the left, because of course there can't be. And that's why I think like earlier when I mentioned that it was like you're like a lone example of someone who was like kind of maybe edgier and like closer to that world of like reactionary politics, which I don't think you were ever reactionary. I mean you can tell me if you were or not. I think you were just kind of like at the time more like liberal, but like doing stuff for shock value. I don't know if that's like a good read of what you were doing, but there's so much more incentive to be an awful person for profit than there is to be a good person, because there's not as much profit. And that's the hard thing that is hard to overcome for like the left.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know, it's really hard to make it to incentivize just being a good person and just like trying to do better and feel, because it's hard to be like, oh, I'll feel better about myself. It kind of feels like I don't know, it's just so the opposite. Like I guess as an example, I think Cody Ko is kind of a good example. Are you guys familiar with his controversy?
I heard about it. I don't know what happened really.
I am not.
I'm like
so
passing.
what's going on with that?
Yeah, so super popular commentary YouTuber. He's kind of a bro guy. And it was like revealed that he slept with a 17-year-old or 16-year-old Tana Mojo.
Oh.
And there's a big, commentary boom of like making videos about him and saying, oh, piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. It went on for a few months. He never like apologized or really addressed it. He just kind of did the, the typical thing. And I don't know, he stopped posting for a while, and then he started posting on like a very like a separate channel, like his fitness channel or something. And you could tell that there's like a lot of fans who are like super addicted to his content, and they just will like fucking refuse to like hold him accountable. And so he has like a little sizable following there. And I just like, every time I click on one of these videos, and I'm watching him, I'm like, oh, that fucking, like, this shit like could have been me. This shit could be anyone who doesn't like want to do an apology or take accountability to some extent, because taking that fucking hit is like so important for you to like not come across as a fucking weirdo for the rest of your life. Mm-hmm. Like, because it's almost like he's still hiding like a secret, but he's making public videos all the time. So every time you watch him, there's a vibe, and it's totally off. And I feel like maybe the incentive is like, hey, you can fucking speak your mind and you can speak freely and get whatever you want off your chest if you at least own up to your shit. Like,
I think the thing is that like, I think that people learned that if you don't apologize and you show no contrition, then you don't have to feel bad. You can just be like, well, I did it. What the fuck do you want me to do about it? Tough shit.
And then you'll have a flood
feel
of
like
people
that would sit in there though, man. Like, I don't know.
I mean, for a normal person, sure.
I think,
but also, I mean, I think the thing you said about Ethan earlier, like, money is an incredibly strong incentive.
True.
But I think it's not just, the money stuff. It's all that too. I think it's also just people feel like it's not worth the trouble and worth the headache sometimes to apologize for something. And I mean, I've definitely felt this way about stupid shit that people were flaming me for online, where I'm like, oh wait, did I am I ableist because I suggested we start a commune and didn't think about the disabled people and didn't mention the
Yes, is
disabled
the answer
people?
to
Like,
that.
yeah, all right, yeah, I'm a eugenicist now, but like, I think I think it sort of runs the gamut, right? But there are times where, I don't know, for me personally, I've hurt myself so many times in terms of making money, like all the time, and I don't give a shit because at the end of the day, I feel good about myself. I can put my head on my pillow every night. I can go to sleep. And the thing is, like, Ian, like, I respect you so much. I mean, I know back when you made the apology video, we talked at that time, and, Olayemi had you on, and like you did the interview, and you didn't shy away from tough stuff to talk about. You know what I mean? Like, that takes fucking nutsack. Like, for real.
People don't want to do that. People just
don't want to fucking do it. And like, it does suck. It does suck. And, people that don't like you are going to keep fucking hating you. People are going to say you're fake. People are going to say you're insincere, detractors, all this other shit. But the truth is, like, you have my forever respect, dude. Like, for real. You have my respect forever for doing
Thank you,
that.
dog.
A genre of post, I think you guys have probably seen this too, where someone will post, there's just no incentive to be a good person. There's no reason to be a good person. It's so much more worth it to be awful to each other and hate each other. And I think there's just like a sickness, and I don't know where the true source of this has started from. Maybe it's just because we're all terminally online and see the worst shit every day, but there's like a true crisis of nihilism just ingrained, and it's like you have to resist that urge. You have to be like genuine, you have to be real, way more than embracing pure nihilism and detachment from each other. It's so much easier to just be like, fuck this all, I don't give a shit. It's so easy to just do that because you don't have to think, you don't have to like reflect, you don't have to do anything like that. And I don't know, I guess just for people listening, just don't embrace that nihilism. Like, especially in the world that we're in right now, there's so many nihilists that just want you to embrace your like worst traits, dunk on people in ways that will maybe ruin their lives, that don't even deserve it. It's so easy to embrace that line of thought, and I don't know, I just hope that more people will maybe take the path that you did. Yeah, it's rare. It's rare.
Yeah, it's super hard.
Ian, do you feel like, I think it's interesting, I was at the last creator clash, and after your fight, I know it's like very emotional after a fight, but like after your fight, you were crying in the ring, and I feel like that was a very vulnerable moment in front of like a shitload of people. After you were just getting punched repeatedly in the fucking face, which like I would also be crying, but this was like emotional, very clearly emotional crying.
No, it's all physical, dude. That hurt.
No, it hurt. But I feel like in terms of modeling this thing, like I feel like you have embraced this kind of like a love centric ethic. Do you feel like even doing inside of the charity stuff with the boxing and all this stuff, do you feel like that's the case, or do you think that you
described
become more
as a love
ethic? A love ethic.
Oh, love ethic.
I love that.
Yeah, I think so.
That's kind of beautiful.
Yeah, I got some love ethic going on. I think for me to get to that point, I think I kind of like realized that like once you kind of drop the fucking, once you put down the haterade and you're done like constantly hating on other people and shit.
Oh, it's so addictive though. Oh
yeah. Well, you kind of like you're left going like, well, what is the alternative? And I think realizing that the alternative is love and is, caring for something, bigger than yourself, and, just trying to do right by others. I think that is the answer. And, like you guys were saying, it's not really super incentivized.
No, it's not.
But it does feel good in unexpected ways. And that's like my best selling point for it, I think, is to just say, like, yep, it ain't going to feel good right away. It might not even feel good in a year. But eventually, you'll realize that it was worth it.
The true incentive is to go into Elon Musk replies and ask him, "Sir, can I suck you off, please? Please, permission to suck you off, sir." That's the true incentive? Kind of going.
Can you read? Wait, can we read that one tweet? Can you pull up that one tweet, please?
The permission to suck you off, sir. Was it that one?
Bro, I would take care of you, bro. Wait, can you read that?
Oh, the guy who's like, I
would hate it. My wife would leave me, but I would take care of you, sir.
It's actually, wait, isn't that what
he was like, yeah, my wife would hate it, but I would sleep with you to make you really happy or some shit like that. Yeah. No, that's a classic reply guy moment. Yeah.
I've got a question. We've talked a lot about, like, you know, accountability and criticism and stuff like that from like a good faith perspective. But how do you first of all, how do you distinguish it? And then, like, how do you deal with bad faith criticisms? Like the ones that Ethan is kind of hurling at you every day. Like, I saw his Instagram story a couple hours ago. I don't know if you'd seen that one, where he essentially indirectly blames you for the Israeli ambassador that was shot yesterday and says that could have happened to him. There's no difference between those two people being shot, and blames you and Hassan for it. Like, what do you even do with that?
You're cooking today, Caleb. You're cooking. I say that because I'm that's my next video, is talking about not specifically that, but concern trolling, and just, you know, how it plays a role in kind of all content creators' existence online. But yeah, I mean, I think the answer is that it's fucking hard, and that's kind of why I like the content cop format, and like doing some big punch randomly, and then just like letting shit stew and letting people, you know, talk amongst themselves. I think other people kind of do a little bit more back and forth. But it really stresses me out. I don't like it. You know, I don't like that Ethan is talking about me fucking every day on his Instagram, or talking about Anissa every day on his Instagram. It's creepy and it's weird. And I would hope that, like, through action, people could put the pieces together that, like, you know, that's unreasonable behavior, and it's definitely coming from, like, just an insecure, weird little place. But, you know, that's, I think, the audience that he's targeting. So naturally he's going to, I mean, at this point, there's really no more people to fucking kick off the ship. It's all just a bunch of demons in your audience.
There's, I mean, another thing that reinforces that sort of behavior, where like, not even Ethan, he's not like the only one. This is just like a thing that happens all the time, where someone will come out and maybe blame you or Hassan or whoever, it doesn't matter, and there'll be like a lot of right-wingers filling in replies being like, wow, I didn't expect to agree with this person today, and they get that like love bomb effect. It like reinforces the like, oh, people that maybe don't like me all of a sudden, and maybe that feels good. Maybe I like that. Maybe it feels nice.
The right is so much better about that than the left, because they will 100%. I mean, you fucking Russell Brand, convicted or allegedly rapist, and now he's like the darling of the right somehow. Yeah. You know what I mean? They'll just take anybody who is convenient for them.
Yeah.
That's such an interesting one. I have been noticing a lot of that, like, why, like, right-wingers kind of saying, like, why won't you fucking tolerate us? Like, we'll fucking tolerate anyone and everyone. Like, we're the more tolerant group, you know? And
just not all the people we're deporting currently.
Yeah. But it's just, it's super, I don't know, man. It's creepy.
It is very creepy.
What would you say to you from like 11 years ago, or I guess like 2015 iDubbbz?
Well,
Keep going, baby.
Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, I'd be like, put a little bit more in crypto or something. I don't, like, I'd say what I'm saying in my videos now, because that's something that I can't really let go, is, I've talked about it in therapy a lot. I'm like, I don't want to specifically talk to a now strictly, like, left-wing audience and be like, you're my new audience. Because that's what fucking Ethan did. That is some, like, lame loser shit in my mind where it's like, you are not acknowledging, like, what you believe and where you've come from. You're just swinging onto the next fucking branch or whatever. I would like to speak to Little Ian. I would like to speak to the friends of Little Ian. Because I think Little Ian is misguided, and hopefully the way that I'm phrasing things will fucking access something at some point in his brain.
Something that I'm curious about, just because I find this almost mind-blowing, where I think in one of the many responses that Ethan had to the content cop was, he was like, when talking about you, he was like, that bridge is burned. We will never be friends. We will never do this. Never, never, never. We will never talk ever again. Stuff like that. And to me, I like, let's be honest, like, every person in their life, you're lying to yourself if you say no, unless you're just a perfect person, unless you're Jesus fucking Christ. Like, you mess up in friendships, you mess up in all sorts of different relationships with people. Mm-hmm. And it's hard to admit like a fault or come back to that person and have like maybe a tough conversation to like rebuild a friendship, because like how do you, for me it's like, how do you just drop like a history, because you and Ethan have been friends for almost a decade, I think. Mm-hmm. And to me, watching him be like, no, it's over forever, is just like kind of sad, because I don't know, like, we're all we have as like humans. Mm-hmm. and like if you had like a history together, don't you want to just like at the end of the day, I don't know, just apologize, and like, and not that you're supposed to do that with truly evil people. Let me be clear, I don't think Ethan's truly evil. I think he's very misguided and maybe just a little too in his own sauce a little bit in the moment. But I guess my question is, after all of that, do you see yourself maybe one day rekindling, like if the option were to be there, like a friendship with some of the people that are now calling you the demon or like a terrorist? Do you right. Like, I feel like I know the answer because you have the love ethic or whatever Lolo
right.
called it. Yeah.
But I do think there is always, because that's not, I don't think that's very strong to, it's not black and white. Right. And I think there, you do need to set boundaries, and I think Ethan would have to, as an example, but there's many other people, but Ethan as the example, would have to crash and burn and get hurt in like a very life-changing way. Not physically hurt necessarily.
Right, yeah.
But if he wants to do boxing, like, I'll fucking, sure I'll do it. But yeah, hurt in some way, feel the fucking impact and the weight of, his actions. Like, that's great. And
is that what like you felt when one of the things, I mean, you mentioned how Anissa challenged you, but like, did you see like what your actions were causing, and you're like, fuck
big time. And it's just been like, it's been a lot of different ways, it's been friends, it's been just reflecting on the content that I've put out there, just kind of even just reflecting on what's coming back at me, the fans who are clearly fans, clearly subscribed for a long time. Now I'm seeing their rhetoric on my Content Cop video about H3. Like, I'm like, ooh, like, I could look at your comment history and see that you have been here a while. And I was feeding you shit that didn't make you a better person in my mind. Or it certainly didn't help. So yeah, I don't know. with time.
One of the things that I always think about when I see people who have embraced a certain rhetoric or get people who are reactionary and get really defensive. I think of Ethan. I think of journalist Jesse Singal is a great person. I think of all the time because his whole thing is like, if you don't know who he is, Ian, his thing basically is like he started writing articles about detransitioners, and trans people got very upset because they thought that they weren't particularly accurate. And he was like, well, I'm a science writer. I know what's up. And I'm just asking questions. But like, if you look at the people who are embracing his work, which are some of the most virulent, disgusting, transphobe right-wingers in the world.
He was cited. Like, he was recently cited in.
He was cited 6 times in like the recent Trump guidance for gender-affirming care for minors.
Yeah,
and I feel like for a normal person, it would be a huge wake-up call that terrible people like what you are doing and are, but like, yeah, and like I feel like that is a thing that that's a feeling you had, but like I think that. There are people who get very defensive of an opinion they have and can't let go of it and don't seem to notice that the people in their comments or the people responding to them or the people following them are just vicious and vile in like ways that are shocking.
It's a good point. I think it's very easy to cope and ignore your peers when you're in that space. Because now I'm trying to put myself back in 2016 iDubbbz brain, and there was a little bit of that vibe where, you know, I would have been excited if like someone I fucking respected and thought was smarter than me if they followed me, but that never really happened, you know? It was basically just fence riding people who followed me, and a lot of fucking just random commentary people, and you know, maybe some alt-right people as well. So it never really clicked in my head, I don't think, but I did have a suspicion. I was like, oh, you like me for a reason. And,
Did you ever I mean, on the flip side, have you had people message you or come up to you and be like, hey, I grew up too. I used to be a fan. I mean, I am a fan, but I grew up also.
That is like, yeah, those, I just had one the other day. Anise and I walked to an ice cream shop near us, and this guy, the demographic is also just a lot more, I don't know, less fucking mouth breathy or whatever. They he was just like super sweet, and he's like, hey, I don't want to fucking interrupt you guys, but I really I love the change you guys have made over the past couple of years. Like keep on doing it or whatever. And I've gotten a lot of private messages like that. There's this one in my Instagram that I saw recently where someone said, I was watching your Content Cop videos when I was 11 years old, and your bad unboxings. And then it's a long-winded kind of explanation where he's at now, but he's like, yeah, but your fucking abortion video was awesome, and I've, changed my perspective on a lot of these things. And I'm like, okay, well, fucking sweet. I love this shit.
So what you're saying is you're the Joe Rogan of the left.
I'm the Joe Rogan of the left.
Let's go. We found him. You're a
boxer.
Boxer. He was UFC, I think. You shifted kind of like your politics. So we found today the Joe Rogan of the left. Yeah.
I will say that is something that I always admired about Joe Rogan. I'm not super into his politics, but I loved that he seemed to be a man of many hats, and it just felt like he would, doing all these different things would lead you to a pretty fucking wide perspective of being able to understand a lot of different, people. I don't think that's entirely true for Joe. It's a little bit like fucking meathead UFC focused, but, I think it's...
He's also too rich now. He's too rich. I feel like when you get too rich, it's like... It's too much.
Your incentives change.
Yeah.
When I get super rich, I'm immediately going to stop having opinions on the internet. Fuck off to an island. I'm not going to give a shit anymore.
Yeah.
I think we're starting to wrap up here. We're coming on an hour. Is there like any like message you haven't put in a video recently or put out there, or maybe something you want to reiterate? Just like a parting message to people.
Oh, I think I've had a lot of parting messages in this as far as I can think. But,
Fair enough.
I mean, I like the challenge of trying to come up with something. Well,
if you don't, alternatively, because so you stepped away from Creator Clash. Are you still like boxing, or are you like done with boxing? Because to me, as someone who grew up doing Taekwondo, we had like all the gear, all that sort of thing. Right. I fought people with all that gear on. Boxing seems fucking terrifying, and you lost a fucking tooth doing it, right? Like that's an actual you lost a tooth? No.
It's just me being cool.
Oh, see, I thought you lost a tooth because I saw that in your recent video. I was like, oh, did he like actually straight up lose a tooth from this?
I do like that people think that though. That's like a nice connection. Cause
you should just Ian. You should just lie and say, we'll edit this. Ian lost his
we'll edit it. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Thanks.
But so no, like even if you're stepping away, are you like still like boxing? Is that like a hobby you won't let go?
Totally.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with it. I really want to eventually get like a win publicly on TV.
Logan Paul or Jake Paul, one of those two.
Yeah, something like that, or whoever. Someone a little bit weaker, maybe.
Someone in your weight class.
Yeah, that'll be cool someday. But we'll see.
Yeah. Well, I'm rooting for you.
Thank you.
Do you think? Would you say that marriage was a content cop for your soul?
Yes,
Lolo.
yes.
I love high. I love high Lolo.
I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you had to do this. I'm sorry.
I mean, you guys laugh, but I thought that was like, he's spitting. That's true. It's cringe,
Is there anything
but
you'd
true.
like to plug before you go?
Nah, just fucking love ethic. Love
Let's
ethic.
go, baby.
Right.
That's the name of the episode. Love ethic.
It is. Thanks,
I
Ian.
want to
really
plug.
appreciate
I
it.
want to plug Ian's squirrel videos. He rehouses varmints in his yard.
That's a slur in the Broden community.
Oh, sorry, it is. Oh my god.
You can't call them varmints.
Oh my god, I
You're
just
about to
said
get
a
a content
slur.
cop, dude.
Oh shit.
Fuck. So wait, explain. You find what dying squirrels on the ground, and you like put them in a little box and nurture them.
Yeah, it's been a little while since I've actually done one of those videos, but Anissa and I are moving back to Canada pretty soon, so I might reboot that. Yeah, all sorts of varmints.
Squirrels, you said the slur. You said it.
Can't say the V word on this podcast, brother.
Alex, please censor that.
We
can't have that.
I'll censor varmint. I'm not going to.
But don't censor the first one.
V word.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah. but no, as someone, go on. Sorry.
Oh, I was just going to say, that's it. Thank you guys for having
thanks for
me
coming on
the
Been
podcast.
A pleasure, for sure.
Y'all are very sweet, and I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for talking to us about things that are probably not easy to always talk about. Thank you so much.
Oh, yeah, no, it's easy.
Okay, well.
All right, well, then never mind. I retract June's thanks.
Wait, can you do one thing though before you go?
Oh no. This is going to be like some little fucking... This is going to be some
Lolo,
fan request or something.
Lolo, you fucker. You unplugged yourself again.
Lolo, no.
Lolo, you can just text me your request and I'll read it, and then we can edit it so it sounds like you asked.
Yeah, I feel so bad for you, and we've kept.
I can do sign language, Lolo.
Yeah, what's your skill level on that? I kind of prefer this is how it's ending. This is almost more fun,
dude.
Yeah.
We're about to get.
He's in like some sort
I'm not
of
gonna
like.
tell him that. He just texted me. No, I'm not even gonna read that.
Please, I'm begging you. You need to know.
I don't know.
Yeah, you can read it. It's fine.
He said,
I'm
"Tell him to
judging
say
low.
I'm gay."
Oh yeah. I knew that's what he was gonna say. I knew
Look at
that.
him laughing.
All right, Lolo. I'm gay.
Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming on and talking to us.
Yeah, thank you.
Ian. I appreciate it.
Have a lovely evening.
Yeah, you too.